edition of the Tackle. Yet another week. A lot has happened. We're here today. Let's hit the ground running. But kama kawaida, before tuanze show yetu, let's have a word of prayer and then we'll begin. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for yet another opportunity, another moment that we are gathering together here as a people, as Kenyans, as we discuss matters pertaining our country. Guide our discussion today. May we listen to each other as well as contribute effectively so that we can grow and learn from one another and impact knowledge to the rest of the people, listeners, and people who watch our program today. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Hey, gentlemen, while we wait for others to join, karibuni sana. I know it's been, I don't even know if I can call it a great week or it's been quite a week, let me so to say. But kabla tuanze, I want to acknowledge Bwana Keja, karibu sana. It's been a while. Welcome back. We have missed you. Tulikuwa tumeshangaa umeenda wapi. Najua hii mambo za kidnapping ilikuwa too much. Nafikiri hata wewe pia ulienda ama ulisalimiwa. We don't know. But welcome. So let me start. Keja, wacha nianze na wewe. Karibu sana. What's your perspective? How do you see the week has been and what has been going on? Give us a summary of your perspective.
This is what I'm going to say. At this moment, the disappointment is still there. Yeah, the president was supposed to at least remove the cabinet, amerudisha wengine. And it's gonna bring a very, very, very big, angry group of young people. Because number one, he never consulted anybody. Yep. And the second thing I can say is the ODM team that just went to get positions so that they can get the votes in the parliament. It is going to be disappointing for you people.
Okay.
Yes, and the last thing I can say is I think those all the CSS should be recalled, and they can do a vetting process. And everybody has been in this kind of situation where you never pick people. At least they should go through a vetting process so that if the Gen Zs like them, they will say yes. The problem is the political class is thinking the Gen Zs want their people. No, they don't want their people. They just want people who have credibility and accountability to the point of where it is not the political class. It is people who know how to run some of these ministries. Yeah, because mdomo itafanya kazi. Mdomo itafanya kazi. Kazi mpaka ifanywe.
Okay.
Yeah, kazi mpaka ifanywe. Na kama Gen Z wanasema kazi mpaka ifanywe, kazi itafanywa. So at this point, I can tell you, I think Ruto should go back to the drawing board and just start again. President Ruto, go back to the board, start again, and just do it clean. Because I can tell you've thrown it to the parliamentary group. And if you see the first and second session, almost between 50 to 70 Kenya Kwanza people never showed up, or they were there, waende walipwe, waende wa clock it lakini hawafanyi kazi. So all these parliamentary groups, especially the MPs, I have not seen a full house, which is disturbing. and most of the people. And then when Ruto did the second cabinet, the parliament was almost empty. So what does it say? Is the political class separating from the people? Is the political class separating from the people? That's my question, and I will leave it that.
Okay. Wow. All right, karibu. Naonekana Keja amekuja yako prepared sana. Bwana Mbauni. Give me your perspective.
So, asante sana. For me, I'm taking it not as a disappointment, but as a wake-up call.
Okay.
For one, Gen Z wamejua sasa sio wao peke yao tribeless, faceless, kuna wengine mpaka wako na face mask.
Yeah.
They call themselves political class.
Yeah.
Those guys are half leaders and they don't have tribe. So what I would advise them is to take this opportunity and register as voters.
Yes.
And when registering as voters, they should not, if you are not born in Nairobi, don't register yourself as a voter in Nairobi. Enda huko kwenu. At the end of the day, their population is very high in Nairobi, for example. So even if they want to recall an MP, they can only recall Babu Owino. And in most cases, Babu Owino is on their side. They need to do it so well. From there, they should know that Parliament is already taken and secured by the president.
Yeah.
So occupying Parliament means nothing other than being shot dead. So hiyo kelele haitasikika. From there, executive hawawasikizi. Because for me, I believe that our president needs no advice from anyone apart from himself.
Oh.
And he hears nothing else from outside. So the only arm of government they are left with is the judiciary. Sasa unless wapate kiamtata mwingine mwenye atakuwa akicheza na court order right, left, center, they cannot do that much. Another thing that they can do is to boycott products. At least they will be felt in those ways. But on those CS that they were saying that they should not be brought back, ebu niambie venye Murkomen atakuwa rewarded. Murkomen alikuwa kwa ground, elected as a senator, akaambiwa achana na hiyo job,
kuja hapa,
kuja nikupatie CS. Unataka Murkomen apelekwe wapi? Eden Duale, unataka apelekwe wapi?
Credentials.
Okay. Credentials, okay, sikatai, lakini unataka apelekwe wapi kwenye kuhitaji credentials? Huyu mama wa mashamba unataka apelekwe wapi kwenye kuhitaji credentials?
Arudi to legislate. There are some things that, do you want to tell me? Wacha nifungue hapa. Do you want to tell me that Murkomen was the best transport person?
I'm not saying he was the best. And in
Or
most
do you want me to
cases,
tell me Duale was the best person to run
I'm
defense?
not saying he was the best. I'm just saying anywhere you take him, he might not be the best. Wenye
What do
tu
you mean
unaweza
anywhere? You can put him back where he was.
he was as a MP, he was MP like Duale, he was an MP. Sasa yule mwenye alichaguliwa
Warudishwe wafanywe MP. Can you imagine somebody like Sudi running education? Because he's the president's friend.
inaweza kakuwa education lakini ni gani? we have a lot of we have a lot of different types of education.
Yep.
Ni gani unaongelelea kuhusu?
Hiyo ni ile ya Mungu nisalimie.
Mungu nisalimie. You can educate those such educations. So in my opinion, I can say like we have not yet lost it, but this one should be just a booster. Like we need to be one, and we need to know what we will do next. Otherwise, we will keep losing it.
My question is. So why is it that you are fighting all these people to go home so that people who know how to run those ministries can run it?
That one is in an ideal condition. Is Kenyan policy?
No, the problem is, it doesn't have to be ideal. It has to be close to the people who can understand. Like for example, huyo mtu mwenye alikuwa wa I'll give you a very good example. This Kalenjin who was in charge of the teachers. What's his name?
Oh, Socio.
Socio. Yeah,
Socio.
Socio. So why is Socio not given education? Because he understands. Huh? Why is who else I was thinking in that cabinet ministry?
Okay, I will ask you another question. Just because Aturi have been COTU chairman for the longest time I know him, does he qualify to be a minister for labor?
No.
Or public work?
No.
Just a question.
Yeah, I see your
you
point.
Can be, you can be a wife for the whole of your life, but you don't know how to cook.
Okay.
Kwanza nitanyamazia hapo.
Haya, nimekusikia. Haya, Bwana Bob. Kuja na yako tusikie.
Huyo ndio nimengoja huyo.
Haya, mpatia time aongee. Haya, Bob, go.
Naomba Keja nyamaze mpaka nimalize kuongea basi.
Yeah, amekusikia.
Kwanza ningependa kuwasalimu Wakenya wote mahali pote mlipo, na cha pili nimeona appointments zenye zimekuja. There's nothing new to expect. There's no miracle that has been done apart from the dealings from the opposition na kutoka kwa minority na majority. That is all I can sum all these things. Young people went to the street with one agenda of accountability, good governance, running a corruption-free government, rejecting the finance bill, all those things. Very good causes. They didn't know when to stop. They didn't know when to call for ceasefire, so that you go back, they strategize. When you come back, you have tangible things to present on the table. What happened? People started becoming opportunists. Mtu anataka kuja waongee mingi kwa TV saa zote. Then mkiambiwa, okay, where are the leaders? And it became, we are faceless, we are leaderless, we are formless, we are worthless. The initial thing how it started, very nice. Had they paused after the president had fired these people and called them for a meeting and then waited? Kwa kila vita venye Wakongo wanasema once umefinyia adui yako chini, hautaki kummaliza, hautaki umweke kwa situation yenye ataruka kando akuwe furious ndio aanze kufight back.
Yeah.
So what happened? Tumemfinyia chini, continue stamping on his head. He got an opportunity to jump out. Now he fought back. Do they have a reply, a response to it? Absolutely no. Because what has happened, this has turned out to be either kulikuwa na watu wamesponsor, two, it is turning out to become, it's an urban thing. Now the rural folks are opposed to it. Now there's a two divide of Gen Zs, pro-government, anti-government. When it started, all of them spoke one language.
Yeah.
Until some people became too malicious. And this one, I will put squarely on a couple of people. Somebody calls you Makuure or something. There's a couple of few people in your this is what you're trying to do. I've gone to their spaces. I'm always on our spaces.
Yes.
Let's form a political party that will represent our interest. Kenya is a multi-party democracy, constitutionally. We have no other way apart from being in a multi-party democracy. If we tell young people, let's have a political party, what do they say? We don't want a political party. We just want to be the way we are. We will remain as disorganized as it has ever been before. We'll be doing so much, achieving nothing. I think it's high time young people now go, sit down, chukua kadi ya kura, have a political party, beat them at the ballot. Do the same thing Senegal did. When Senegalese, young people in Senegal realized we can no longer fight them on the streets, they went na wakachukua kura. President was easy, nobody knew him.
Yeah.
People are not even voting for him. People are voting for the one who was in prison. They didn't know that this guy existed.
Yeah.
They now know him when he's president. But the prime minister is the person they knew.
Yeah.
So I think in America, that is where our young people now need to go. Hii ya barabara doesn't make any sense. Let this political class do what they want to do for the next 3 years. If they achieve anything from this government, good. Secondly, John Badis once said, William Ruto, you want your poison, you can have it.
Yeah.
This is the cabinet you want, have it. Thank God, you are now part of that cabinet. William Ruto, is this the cabinet you want? From deep down our hearts, Mr. President, you can have it. If you achieve everything with them, we'll applaud. If you fail, we will not be blamed.
Yeah.
We told you where the problem was. You didn't listen to us. You wanted to advise yourself. We wish you all the best. Mungu asaidie Kenya na Mungu asaidie rais.
Na wasalimie.
Sijui kama Mise amerudi. I saw it dropped out. I don't know. Let me check. Oh, Mise, you're back. Okay, Mise, take it away. Let me get your perspective.
Asante sana Bwana Chairman. Na asante kwa kukaribisha Keja back. All these things zenye unaona zimefanyika, Keja is a suspect. Wow. Because during the time he was away is when tumeona maandamano, ndio maana tumeona handshake. So we don't know what is going on or whether he was involved or whether he was the faceless, useless, focusless and leaderless leader of the faceless people. Yeah. So, but it's good to see him back. But I think what everyone is saying here is a reality. It is a regrouping of people of common interest versus those who feed them. So the common mwananchi against the political elite class. That's what we see.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? And this is actually very interesting. If you go back to the since William Ruto was elected, if you go back, most people have not been speaking very good of him. Especially, let's talk about Mbadi. Mbadi even called William Ruto an hypocrite. You know, when he was beseeching William Ruto to stop abusing Baba or calling Baba mzee wa kitendawili. He gave him a lecture. But today, who is been appointed or nominated to the position, which is a preserve of Central? It's John Mbadi, right? Now, look at Ali Hassan Joho, the people who never believed in William Ruto, the very close soldiers of Baba. What does this tell you? It tells you that Baba has positioned his people and from the most critical areas to start mitigating the pressure from the public, okay? Because now they appear to be part of the illegitimate government, because no one has sanitized William Ruto's government, okay?
Yeah.
William Ruto's government ni serikali ya wezi. So now we have added the list of serikali ya wezi. Baba is there, Mbadi is there, and many other and many wezi, a list of wezi who have also joined now. Ni nani atatetea mwananchi mnyonge? Eh? Now, this shows you a hypocrisy that when it's not working for you, then you criticize it. When it is, you are part of it, then you are going to praise it, right? So that is the hypocrisy we see from the ODM. And for me, I see Baba as someone who has used this tactic for many years during Moi's time. You know, he used the tactic and he got to the government. During Kibaki's time, he used it, and then we had, I think, government of
it was the same thing, national unity.
National unity.
Yeah.
And now during Kibaki's time, Uhuru's time, I think it was a handshake.
Yeah, handshake. Right? Yeah.
And then now during Ruto, now it's called broad-based government.
Yes.
Baba is a conman, you know. He is, first of all, he has brainwashed us to believe that he's a champion of democracy, as someone who embraces the interest of the people. But in actual sense, he embraces the interest of people selectively, and the people are actually not the Kenyan citizens. They are the people around him, those who actually help him to propel or advance his agenda. So Baba has been very insincere, okay? Hata mulisikia akiimba chorus ati akiitwa ataitika. So Baba is one person for me whom I'm disappointed that if he was very sincere and if he wants this country to go to a different direction and fight corruption, this is the time that he would have laid the irreducible minimum. Okay? This is where he would have talked about corruption, right? Appointment without merit. And I also wanted to tell my brother Keja that you don't need education to deliver.
Yeah.
Because you do have money, if you are wise, you just need wisdom and the goodwill to serve the public. Otherwise, most of these people, they have expatriates who can help to come up and devise the plan and execution of the policy that you want to be functional. So you have money you can hire. So you don't need, Oscar Sudi can actually run a ministry if he has someone good, who has good interest and who wants the country to succeed. So it's not always about merit. It is also about goodwill and wisdom. The last thing is that now the likes of Edwin Sifuna, who have been making noise, who have been criticizing and rubbishing this government,
and threatening others to de-whip them.
Yes. You will now see them singing a chorus of praising this government. Now, do you see how William Ruto has not cared about the GNCs? How many GNCs were appointed to the cabinet?
Zero.
No, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
No, let him finish. Let him finish his thought.
I was finishing the answer.
Na Alfred anangoja hapa, so wacha mimi amalize and then we'll come to you, Keja.
So you can imagine if William Ruto was remorsive or conscious or even afraid of what will happen or the reaction from the GNCs, na bado tuko na maandamano, he would have done a PR, appoint one GNC, nominate one GNC and say, listen, you called me, I listened to you, we had a conversation, and guess what? You are represented in my cabinet.
Yeah.
Okay? But that has not happened. Instead, what are we seeing? We are seeing recycling of leaders. Tell me, let's pick one person like Ali Hassan Joe. Ali Hassan Joe served as a member of parliament from 2007. Let's say from 2004, he was the chairman of some party in Kisauni. He then rose to become a member of parliament. He then rose to become the governor from 2013 to I think some years later.
Two-term, yes.
Two-term. So I think which is 2022 or something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Then now he's being appointed to the cabinet, right?
Yeah.
And there is a likelihood he will be reappointed 2027. Have the GNCs achieved their objectives of holding the government accountable? Why are we recycling people who have actually had the chance to steal from the government? Why don't they also allow us, give us the opportunity so that we can also milk the cow together? You know, at least if they are milked two packets, allow us also to milk one packet. That's how we can even and have opportunity to share. And the Ruto and what they have done, Raila, Amolo Odinga, Ruto, and this other political elite class, this is something that is now, they are coming together, regrouping themselves. They have brought all the guns, the ammunitions, and they are saying, we must fight. How do we fight? Let us send out our soldiers. Because why? We are under attack. By who? By the people, the poor people whom we have been purporting to represent their interests. Let us fight. And we can only fight as one united force against the people of the Republic of Kenya. That is why he is appointing these people. And lastly, we have been saying that Baba is a very selfish person. And Baba has been the center. Baba is frightened to the fact that the GNCs might have reorganized themselves without his involvement or his influence. What does that mean? He is losing relevance in the field of maandamano, and therefore he will not have any relevance. And therefore, for him to have relevance is to come in and masquerade that he is the one who is liberated or is the one who has saved William Ruto from the wilderness. Yet we know that he is coming to advance his personal agenda. And Baba has also been there from, can you imagine when you heard the language from Orengo, James Orengo, Moses Kajwang, Gladys Wanga, saying that William Ruto, even if we did not vote you, you know, but we appreciate the fact that you have brought development to us. Did you see any backlash from ODM party against these people?
No.
But when people like Jalango, you know, made attempt to go to State House, what happened to them? So Baba is very selfish and has no best interest of our country. Thank you.
All right. Just Alfred, be ready. I just want to read quickly a statement from the ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna. Sifuna claims that the ODM members who have been nominated by the president were nominated without Raila's knowledge. He says Raila would not have allowed to front 4 men, and especially 2 coming from the same region. The statement says the senator is adamant that ODM has not entered any agreement to form a government of national unity with Kenya Kwanza government.
Leave him alone.
Take it away. Bwana Alfred.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Unajua kitu moja chairman?
Yes.
Mimi napendanga kusema yangu ikuwe fupi na ya ukweli.
Yeah.
Unajua wakili atakuja kutusomea hapo law section 37 sijui article 4 na ngapi maneno ya integrity sijui na kwa ngapi, na hiyo yote kwa hii serikali ni null and void.
Yeah.
So mimi niliwaambia 2022 July 3rd 2022 nikawaambia whoever will win,
yes,
it doesn't matter who will win, they will form an handshake government. Hiyo ikatimizwa jana.
Yeah.
Kuna style nakataka kukuambia. Nimelala usiku nikaona this is only a 2-year contract.
Yeah.
Forget about hiyo ya Sifuna, hiyo ni null and void, hiyo ni useless. Serikali ni ya 2 years. After hiyo 2 years, Ruto anakuja Eldoret anasema mimi niliwapatia maneno hii walifanya, mimi niliwapatia hii walifanya. Hiyo serikali imebomoka, tunasonga na UDM. The only thing I will tell you, look at the positions that were given out.
Yes.
To the opposition or whoever those people are. I don't know if now they are opposition or they are government. Look at those positions that Raila and his people were given. Finance.
Yes.
Maneno ya mafuta.
Yeah.
All
Mining.
is about levy.
Yes.
Mining. All is about levy.
Yes.
All is about taxes. All is about lowering the cost of living.
Yes.
They had promised that 6,000. I hope watatupatia 3,000. Now that wako kwa nusu mkate. Hatutaki 6,000, tunataka 3,000.
Yeah.
So it is a catch. Why you want ile kitu inaitwa catch 22? It is a catch 22 for Baba to now deliver what he has been saying always. Amepewa position ile ya pesa. Hakuna kutuambia sasa cost of living imeenda juu sababu yeye ndio anashikilia treasury. Hakuna kuja kulia kusema mafuta imeongezwa sababu Mutiaga ndio anashikia mafuta. Hakuja kutuambia port of sijui wapi inataka kuuzwa sababu ya deni, sababu Mutiaga anasimamia maneno ya So Baba is dead politically. He fails to deliver with these people. Hiyo watasema kama kila mtu mwingine. Na wanatasema it is better the devil will know than now huyu mtu tumepewa na amewezwa kabisa.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
So those positions are very crucial and very critical.
Yeah.
And if his people will not deliver, then it is the end of their working political careers for those who are in position now. And actually for Baba now, he will not have any other say come 2027. And I can tell you for free how DP is quiet and silent and how he gave very strong team from Mount Kenya. I believe he was well consulted. He is well aware of what is happening. And actually it was a catch for Baba. Amalizwe kabisa na 2026. Jamaa wanarudi na riti mingine wanasema, unaona tulipeana maneno wakawezwa na kazi bas sisi tunasonga.
Yeah.
Unaona venye maneno inasonga sasa. So there was consultation. The only thing here nataka kusema ati that Gen Zs were meant to be given position. No one will give you position in government, my brother, when you don't deliver, when you don't bring anything to the table.
Yeah.
I will tell you that again. You will not get any position if you are not bringing. Hata ule mzee wa nyumba, saa zingine hata unafika bila kitu, unaambiwa leo nimechoka, hakuna namna, sababu hakuna kitu umeleta. Hata mama hana psych, hana uwezo, hana nguvu, but hata urudi saa 5 usiku na umekuja na wallet mzito ama umekuja na kitu ya kukula ya watoto, umelipa fees ama nini, mama anasema welcome my dear, hata akuulizi umetoka wapi. Gen Zs came and said we are rudderless, we are leaderless, we are sijui whatless. So how will you address someone who is faceless, who is rudderless, who is leaderless? Utapatia nani? Number 2, Joho alikuwa governor for 2 terms.
Yeah.
Oparanya, he is 78 years old, alikuwa governor for 2 terms.
Yeah.
Ule jamaa Mvuria alikuwa governor.
Yeah.
When you are a governor, you fund those who are aspiring to be presidents. When you are a governor, you fund those who are in position. When you are a governor, kuna mahali umekuwa umeweka mkono yako, unarudishiwa mkono. Yeah. You can imagine how much money did Oparanya pump when he was governor to Baba's elections. You can imagine how much money Joho pumped when he wanted to be president. You can imagine how much money did Mvuria pump for Ruto when he wanted to be president. Alafu wewe raia umekuwa tu hauna namna, hata hauna kitu, unataka upewe position for who?
Hey. Wow.
Niko na majibu.
So,
ngoja Keja.
Ambia huyo jamaa ajibu na tupatie theories zenye ina work, sio from nowhere. You know, you have to be told as is.
Yes.
Ukijua ukikuja barabara upige kelele. The same people who were actually in Eldoret the other day demonstrating about Kipchumba are the same individual who are yesterday celebrating. And saying asante sana kwa kurudisha Kipchumba.
Yeah.
So my friend, siasa ni ngumu kidogo.
Wow.
Asante jamaa.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to remind you, according to the Gen Zs, hao wako wanataka, at least majority of them, they say they don't want any position. All they want is the government to be accountable. That's all. They do not want to be given any position. But anyway, Keja ulisema uko na majibu, hebu wacha tusikie vile unasema.
Exactly. Hii maneno watu mnaongea jama positions, mnaongea na kila kitu. Yeah, they want people to be accountable. Accountability is what we do. Now, this is a diaspora sport where ukienda kazini, you are accountable. Yeah, sasa ukiona what is going on and you're not accountable, unaanza kushangaa, unashangaa ni nini inaendelea. Alafu unaona kakijana kanakuja kanakusumbua. Mpaka nasema unamwambia we, nimekutumia pesa leo, nimekutumia pesa kesho, nimekutumia pesa kesho kutwa. Can you account for it? Then what happens? Nasema okay, nimekuja. Okay, ile pesa ulinitumia ni hii na hii na hii na hii na hii na nilifanya hii. Sasa when you inaitwangwaje nini extrapolate. So it gets to a point where they are not figuring out because the little money they have, they cannot account for it. Yeah. Okay. Wengine wataimba kwa sababu wamelipwa. Hiyo ni kazi rahisi. Trust me. I can go to Eldoret na mimi nitaimbiwa hata mimi. Nitaimbiwa Eldoret, Kericho, nitaimbiwa wapi?
Yeah.
Nitaimbiwa kwa sababu nimetupa mia ni, yeah. So that is not scary. The problem is accountability. And the problem is you people are looking from the top to the from the top, ni kama Alfred anasema Murkomen alienda akafanya nini. Yeah, watamfurahisha siku moja, lakini kesho kutwa, kesho kutwa, alafu next week na next week and the week after. So watakula pesa yako sahi. Kama ni uwapatie pesa wakupigia kelele, yes, they will do it today and tomorrow. Alafu wakwambie tutaenda kanisani Jumapili, lakini hata Jumapili, Monday ikifika itakuwaje? So this is what I'm trying to say. These kids are thinking different, and you have to think from the bottom up. You have to think from the bottom up, and to the point of where ndio hiyo pesa itakula, lakini things are changing. Things are slowly changing. These kids are not in the streets to go and kill themselves. And I can say, Alfred, na mimi nitakwambia leo, hawa ni watu those are desperate people. Those are desperate kids. You, Alfred, you're in some good place. Maybe you have 1 or 2 babies. You're taking care of 2 or 3 people. When you're in trouble, you can't go to the streets.
Okay.
Sure.
No, hold on. Let me finish. I started a conversation. Nikasema, let's go to the streets in peace. The question was, sina kazi, sina bibi, sina mtoto, sina kitu yoyote. So if I do something crazy, nikikuwa nitachungwa aje? Kwa sababu I spendi kwenda kwa baba yangu na mama yangu at my age. I'm almost about 30. How do you explain that stuff?
Okay.
How do you explain it? So when they are there and then the cops are shooting all these nini kuwafukuza. Those are our, like, I can say average in this group, just this group. 100% chance we'll have our kids in there running around.
Keja, can you let Mr. say something? Looks like he has something he wants to find.
You see, Alfred and Keja are contradicting themselves unless they are using selective accountability. And I don't know why we can talk about holding the government accountable because the government is supposed to implement and observe that which is in the Constitution. So 30% is for the young people, the youths in the Constitution, right? So if we are asking the government to be accountable, that is one of the asking of the GNC. So show me in that cabinet a representation or a percentage of the 30%
for the young people.
For the young people. So then, if we take Alfred's argument, then it will mean these young people will never get to see nothing when it comes to such nominations because most of the time, these young people don't have anything to offer to the government when it comes to contribution so that they can get what is called symbiotic relationship or rewarding. So so let us not be narrow in seeing that unless you have influence or you have power for mobilization, or you have resources that you are pumping in order to be visible. That's not the spirit of the Constitution. Neither is it the letter of the Constitution. It is supposed to be, regardless of who you are, if you have merit, you should be considered. And that's why we have people we are recycling again and again, which shouldn't be the case. So we are not meeting what is called equity, diversity, and inclusion. That is the argument, Alfred. But that's what should be. But the reality is what Alfred said. You understand? And because we focus on what is the reality, then we make it a norm. We normalize it. Mpaka tunasema, wewe hujaiambiwa, hujaienda kwa ofisi uambiwe bwana, wewe toa bwana, kama ni nini, huwezi saviwa bila kitu. Toa. Unaona? Wewe toa ongo. Au ni askari unawajua. Okay? Instead mimi na wewe kuungana tuseme no, atutoi. Then you also join hands to say, to normalize it, to say, we toa ni nini, shida yako ni nini, wezi toa kitu usaviwe uende. You understand? So
and one time hold on,
just give him time. Keja, give him time.
No, Missy, no, hold on, just 1 minute, Missy, and I'll tell you. And that is why.
Wait,
you
Keja.
as a young person.
Wait, Keja, wait. We were listening when you were talking. So, this old mentality of normalizing the vices and legalizing it. That is where we are getting it wrong. If you ask me, if I was in the government, if I was the leader, I wouldn't bring Ali Joe Hassan. Why am I bringing him back? Why can't I nurture Muhammad Ali, all right, from Coast to deliver votes for me? Why don't I empower him? He's slightly younger. He's not served that long. Why would I not empower him? Why do I want to work on the ready-made perception? So we have what is called scarcity mentality, right? And this scarcity mentality is what is killing us. Let me tell you, if you go to Kenya, you ask questions, you are penalized because you are asking questions. Now, the people who live in diaspora are used to be asking questions, right? And when you ask, unapata aje, you are penalized. Now, this is the same narrative Alfred is saying, unajua wakili atatusomea hii katiba inasema nini hivi. No, that is the spirit and the letter of that constitution was meant to deliver people to have justice all round. Then when we deviate from there, tunaanza tunaanza kukuza dhambi. Hiyo dhambi inarudi inatumeza sisi. That's what I was trying to emphasize. How come, Bwana Chairman, where is that one leader mwenye atafanya the right thing? Hata akiambiwa geuka left, atageuka bila kuangalia his shoulders, ni nani ako nyuma yake. Where is that one leader? Right? Some of those leaders, look at the time of Bitange Ndemo and Samuel Bogisio, right? They did, even if there was scandals here and there. Today, Kenya is able to have good internet services, fiber optic, because they stood and did the right thing. That is why our country technologically is enabled, right? It is during their time we were able to send the first to the satellite, right? So we want leaders who believe that no matter what, I will do the right thing all the time. And lastly, poverty is the best incentive to creativity. Okay? When you are poor, you can be manipulated. When you don't have power, you can be manipulated. Do not be surprised that the GNCs are manipulated to speak and propel the agenda of one powerful person who has his own agenda. That is why we have this leaderless, faceless, tribeless, when we know that Kenya has 43 tribes? What is wrong with our tribes? Our tribes is what brings diversity and versatility. It is what makes Kenya to be the country that is so admired out there. You know, when you look at the Kisii, the industrialness of Kisii, when you look at the Maasai, you know, and their culture, when you look at the Luo, you know, and their spending, when you look at the Luya, with their culture of dancing and singing, when you look at the Kikuyu with their industrialness of and business, that is what makes our country unique and admired. So when people come and tell us, oh, we are tribeless, that is hogwash. And that is just to try and digress us from knowing who is the owner of the dogs. The owner of the dog is somewhere, just sending the dogs to back.
All right. Yeah, I just to add something a little bit on this. You know, I'm scanning news and I happened to come across an interview done by Lin Jiru. You guys can remember Lin Jiru was the presidential press service for Moi for a long time. Anything Moi was saying, Lin Jiru was there. He gave us, I think there was an interview he did, and he said, Raila Odinga, William Ruto, Kalonzo Musyoka, Musalia Mudavadi, and other politicians, they are all political cousins, and they can turn against you at any moment. And I think we are seeing that playing out right now. Whether Sifuna's statement is correct or accurate, I don't know. Time will tell. But the one thing that is clear is that I am not going to say the Gen Zs, what they have done is wrong. They pushed the best way they know how. They exercised the right to protest. There are people who are involved, who are being given money to come and disrupt and cause mayhem. Some of them have been caught, and it has been proven now. Several people have been mentioned who are actually funding those chaos. But at the same time, also, the one thing that I appreciate about them is they continue asking of questions. And I think the one thing that I agree with Bob is maybe, and is actually time also, why they are pushing for this, and I will say we at the same time, is high time we regroup and also think of what is next. The what is next is about voting. So borrowing Bob's idea and say, hey, even if you live in Nairobi, think of going to vote upcountry where you can have the most impact. Because Nairobi, how many MPs they have? Is it 5, 6? I don't know how many. But out of almost 300 now, or how many? I don't even remember how many, but at least they are over 300. So if you can make that difference, mashinani, just the same way the young people took time to read the finance bill and translate in local language, different vernacular languages, to make it simple for the people in the villages understand what this finance bill is. I think that's the same initiative people need to take approach. If we have hope of redeeming our country, if we have hope of making our country's trajectory to be different, if we have hope, if we want to have hope where we can actually hold leaders accountable, then that's how we have to approach. When I see interviews being given, like, for example, Senator Onyonka, who is saying that, almost 20% based on his numbers, I estimate is about between 10 and 20% of the budget is actually budgeted for corruption. In other words, that money just disappears, poof, and you can never see it. You don't even know where it's going. When you have a governor saying that he spent 25 million to buy flowers for a one-day event, when he has hospitals that have no beds, have no medicine, when you have a governor buying a crate of soda for 1 million, then all we did actually is just bring down corruption from the national government to now it's local. And I think, to me, in as much as as far as the Gen Zs are also approaching from the national government, it should be all-encompassing. And I like the idea some of them have started focusing on their counties and asking questions, because these questions are legitimate. We need to ask these questions. We need to ask these questions seriously. when you see a county spending 960 million for foreign travel, you wonder for what? Some of the MPs and some of the people have said, you cannot give a bursary to the member of parliament, you give a bursary to the governor, a bursary kit to the governor, you give a bursary to the MCA, you give a bursary to the president and the deputy president. For what? If you combine all this money, then our young kids should be, Kenyan kids should go to school for free, because there is enough money to take care of all that without necessarily giving it to somebody who will just come and give it as a token, rather than actually giving that money direct to people. How about even auditing what these people are doing with this money? To me, those are the issues that actually rise up. And I wish and I hope one day we'll bring Gabriel back, because there is one question I wanted to ask him. Last week he said, you know, when we were asking about the police and all that, he said, hey, the president is given autonomy to do their job. I just wanted to ask him a question, and I hope you listen to this. What happened to that? Today, the president said he has ordered the police to release all the young people who have been arrested and drop all charges. So where is the independence in that? That to me is my question. But let me come back to you guys. I don't want to talk too much and give you time to talk. Alfred, I see you are ready. Go ahead.
No, I'm just going to. I'm just gonna give you. I'm just gonna give you a quick one.
Keja, let's go with Alfred, and then I'll come to you.
Let me actually sum up as, because naingia pia shift hapa, lazima tutafutia watoto.
Yes.
I will say this. I know Keja ameongea, amesema maneno ya accountability. Everyone will want that. Every Kenyan, not even the Gen Zs alone, every Kenyan would like to have a conversation and accountability. My brother hapa amesema ukweli, maneno ya constitution iko sawa, lakini let him also be what do we call practical. Like, you know, Kenya, the minister who has actually not touched in this everything that happened is a member of who is not in the constitution. His position is not there, but he was in there, you know, representing the 22. And someone was saying, if Mudavadi can stand in for 22, why do we need 22 or 23 CSS? Kama Mudavadi amefanya hii peke yake wiki mbili. Mbona tutafuta hizo zingine? Kama mtu from outside can work and do things properly to represent 22 people, why do we need these positions?
Yes.
Anyway, that aside, let me say this. When it comes to politics, you know, he mentioned that when it comes to people being brought back, the people of Oparanya, I don't wish Oparanya to be brought back, but I said this 2 weeks ago. I said Baba will forward Oparanya. I said Baba will forward Joho. I said Baba will forward Ngilu. Unfortunately, kuleta. I was with Ngilu personally, and akaniambia that kiti yake alikuwa anataka ni ya thread. Na akaniambia ukiwahi patana na Ruto, ambia tu tunaomba msamaha anirudishe kazi. So I knew this was coming. But again, when it comes to the balancing of who got the most interest.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, Arama, if I go now to run for governor in Nandi or to run for Senate, the people who would push me or support me financially are those ones will win more than those who will vote me with many votes. Yes. Let us be sincere. What will Chicho Pefu give to Ruto na hajai leta kakitu kwa table when they are discussing about money? Politics is about money. It is about interest. It is about how much you're bringing in. It is not about how many votes. Let us be sincere. I come from Nandi County. There is a constituency that people voted, but the winner of elections was not the one with majority votes.
Mm-hmm.
So at times, let us also be sincere that majority votes won't win. It is about the interest. Who want this person to go in, or who is pushing the candidate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The only time Gen Zs will bring this and make accountability happen is fikiria MP wako akikuja ground akitaka kuongea, ambia barabara iko wapi. Uliona vitu walifanyia ile MCA huko?
Yes, I like it.
Ongea hapo.
That is the only thing that you can do.
Yes.
For now, that is the only thing. I will tell you for free. Shika MCA, ambia barabara ni yako bwana. Tembea na sisi matope, wachana na gari. MP akitaka kuongea huko mtaani, shika yeye, ambia bwana, tulikutuma bunge, ukaenda kupitisha hii, ukaenda kupitisha hii. Tunataka hii kama raia iko wapi? Barabara yetu iko wapi? Maneno ya CDF yetu kama bado itakuwa iko wapi? Maneno ya hii. So those are the only people you will held accountable. Ruto sasa aende Kisumu. Kuna mtu atampigia kelele chairman. So ataenda kumkaribisha sasa ni king.
Yeah.
Baba akuja Eldoret. Kuna mtu ataenda maandamano ati baba amekuja Eldoret.
Hakuna.
So those ones hakuna kitu tutafanya. Let us be sincere. Kuna haya, enda Nairobi maandamano. Sema tunataka kurudi parliament ama tunataka kwenda JKIA. Watu goons wenye wanaendanga ku represent ODM ndio wanatuanga jenzi wanaenda. Hata baba hata kuja wenyewe tu wanaambiwa deal na kina Sergeant ndio hao wamefika Mombasa Road. Wanatandikwa. Wana confuse hiyo maandamano yenu, wanaweza kusema goons. The reason why this handshake came to be is we won as the people who wanted change when it came to the finance bill. Yeah. But after that, these guys went and sat down and said, we cannot see Ruto losing, we cannot see Baba was going to be relevant now. Since he was not part of everything.
No.
Baba was going to be relevant.
No, that's a story.
Hey, it's his story. Let him finish. Let him
so
finish.
They sat down and said, how are we going to recover? Sisi sasa bado tukae huko mbele na tuendelee na tunakaa sasa sisi ndio wale tunategemewa, and that is why they came up with this. If Gen Zs were going to win every day with what they are going to do, what will Baba would be helping? What Baba angekuwa anasaidia nini? Asaidii Ruto, asaidii Gen Z, angekuwa anasaidia nani?
Yeah.
And if Ruto was losing, who else was going to come and rescue us in between here? So the only thing that we can have now to vote is deal with your MP, deal with your MCA. Hizi maneno zingine ya kusema ati maandamano, I will tell you for free, there will no going to be any successful maandamano, given that both people are in government now and they are enjoying what is sweet in there. Hiyo maneno yote ni kama hizi maandamano zingine uliona inafanyika, ikifika nusu saa 6 mnaambiwana goons zimekuja kubomoa watu, sijui vitu zimepomolewa. So now you become the enemies of the people, because people will see now that mnaandamana kuharibu vitu, and yet your ideologies and agenda is different. But those who are coming to infiltrate and join you are the ones from the other sides. So I can rest my case there. Tuende wapi, turudi wapi, I will tell you for free. Tunavumilia for 2 more years. Wafanya reshuffle ya government next year. Waachilie Baba aendelee na watu yake, wale wengine wabadilishwe kidogo. 2027 wimbo nyingine. Asante sana. Huyo ndio Senator Wanandi amesubmit yake. Tutanisupport.
Kabla Senator atoke. Unajua Senator, mimi nafikiri tunaongea the same thing, eh?
Yes. Yeah.
Ile kitu nilikuwa naambia Senator, in the country of Somali, okay? Walijaribu kukosea ama kupishana na serikali ya Marekani, si ni kweli? Na serikali ya Marekani ikasema kwamba hatutakuja physically, right? But we will look for a way that will make you useless and nothing and unacceptable in the world. Hiyo ni ukweli ama si ukweli? Senator, hiyo ni swali yako.
Hiyo ni ukweli, si ni pesa tu kidogo. Yeah.
Sasa nilikuwa nakwambia the last 20 years watu wa Somali, watoto ambao wamezaliwa wako miaka zaidi ya miaka 22 hawajakuwa na masomo vizuri, si ni kweli? Kwa sababu ya instability. Sasa ile ujinga yao wamegrow nayo 22 years or plus, unaitoa aje? Unajua ni kazi ngumu ya kuitoa. That is the same ujinga tumegrow nayo as Kenyans. Kwamba lazima upeane pesa ndio usikike, kwamba lazima kama hauna kitu ya kuleta kwa meza in terms of material au utakuwa relevant, right? But we have seen watu kama akina Toto who actually came to the government without resources through public wamesapotiwa na watu. So we are saying we can do it as a country. Wakati tuligrow tulipata kitu ilikuwa inaitwa Harambee spirit. Si kweli? Tulikuwa tunaambiwa tuvute Harambee tufute pamoja. Right? That spirit, all of a sudden, that culture ikatoka. Na that is why selfishness imekita kwa sababu the spirit of Harambee departed.
Yeah.
Now, if you remember Chairman, kitambo firimbi ilikuwa inapigwa na watu tunakuja pamoja barasa, na kama kuna kazi inafanywa kwa hiyo kijiji, kazi inafanyika.
Yeah.
When that culture departed, siku hizi ni wewe na Mungu wako kama serikali haijafanya.
Yeah.
Unaona? So what I was telling my brother Senator, ni kweli kwamba ukweli ni vile umeelezea, lakini pia kuna uwezekano kwamba tunaweza pia geuza ukweli vile umeeleza ikue vile isivyo hivi sasa. Unaona? Tunaweza anza kuongea juu ya corruption na ufisadi, na kama mwananchi ama wananchi tukifuta pamoja tutafukuza ufisadi. Serikali iwezi kumaliza ufisadi kama sisi wananchi hatuwezi kuwa involved katika kufukuza ufisadi. Wacha nikwambie Bwana Chairman, mimi nilipokuja huku niliambiwa hapa hakuna corruption. Hapa utashikwa. Na miaka yote nilikaa hapa nilijua hakuna corruption.
Yeah.
Na watu wote immigrants ambao walikuwa wanakuja wanajua hakuna ufisadi.
Yeah.
Lakini hivi karibuni Wakenya wamekuja wakasema bwana, unajua unaweza nifanyia hivi. Sasa shortcut zimeingia, ufisadi imeanza kuonekana. Unaona?
Yeah.
Wengine wameshikwa, wengine hawajashikwa. So lastly, nilikuwa nataka kuambia Senator kwamba kuna vita. Unajua vile I think bwana mwenyekiti ulimnukuu Lee Njiru. Ukamnukuu na his conclusion ni kwamba William Ruto, Moi, Kenyatta mdogo, Kibaki, Raila, hawa wote wako katika kundi moja na wanatetea their interest.
Yeah.
Hawana haja ama interest ya mwananchi katika in their hearts. So kwa hivyo wanapokuja pamoja hawajakuja kwa sababu kwa minajili ya kukomboa mwananchi. Wamekuja kwa minajili ya kujiokoa wao wenyewe baina ama dhidi ya wananchi ambao wamekasirika. Now, bwana mwenyekiti, jana niko na mkahawa pale nyumbani.
Ongea na Kizungu kama Kiswahili imekushinda.
Si anaongea Kiswahili vizuri. Nini? Shida gani
Keja naongea Kiswahili bwana Mufti, tulia. Kwa hivyo nina mkahawa pale nyumbani. Na huyu mkahawa ni jana askari walikuja pale kama wangapi? Kama 20 na kitu. Kwa nini? Propaganda. Wakaambiwa kwamba pale kwa ule mkahawa pale ndio maandamano inaandaliwa. Kwa nini? Kwa sababu labda ni competitor.
Yes.
Na walipokuja ukiangalia CCTV footage, walipokuja ukiangalia kutoka main road vile wameingia, walikuwa na hakika kwamba wataingia na walisema kuna unmarked vehicles, unplated vehicles ambazo ziko pale. So walipoingia wakasakanya kila mahali na wakakosa, na wakasema tunataka kuona footage ya kuanzia asubuhi mpaka saa hii. Na walipoangalia wakapata hamna gari ambayo imeingia pale. Najaribu kusema nini? This is an opportunity for competitors to put down their competitors. Kwa hivyo kuna wale pia watasponsor maandamano, sio kwa ajili kwa interest ya ya wananchi, lakini because of their self interests, kwamba wanataka they oppose the leader, the current leader, and therefore what they will do, watahire watu. Nilisema poverty is the best incentive to creativity. Watahire people and they can manipulate them to come for demonstration with an agenda with their own agenda. So kwa hivyo tuwe makini sana tunapoingia katika mambo ya maandamano.
Okay. All right, awesome. Aya, Keja, wacha nikupe nafasi alafu Mbauni.
Sasa? Yeah. Huyo amesema kila kitu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aya.
Patiana.
Aya, Mbauni.
Mimi na feel like we are not discussing the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Because what we are discussing is how we can stop the diarrhea by stitching the anus.
Yeah.
That is what we are currently discussing.
Okay.
Juu, umeleta watu wa ODM kwa government.
Yeah.
Wenye hawajui your manifesto, they don't understand it at all.
Yes.
And you want them to bring the changes in the government.
Yeah.
And a positive one. Okay. Is it that Ruto did not listen to what people were saying? They were so clear that they just need accountability. So, by bringing Joho here, is Joho the accountability? Is Mbadi the accountability? Okay, you've just said it so well that a governor spent $1 million buying a Coca-Cola crate somewhere.
Yes.
Another one spent 25 million
to buy flowers. For one day event.
Okay. For one day event.
Yeah.
Okay. So my question is, we will now start saying the EACC should investigate this person. Okay, the EACC rush there, investigate, give it to DPP, take it to the court.
Yeah.
Okay, what should court do? Because I think we like pretending to be so Democrats to a point we don't make sense. I mean, you spent 25 million. This is the receipt. This is the invoice that you paid.
Yeah.
And these are the flowers that we found there because we were in this occasion.
Yeah.
So the only thing that should be done, okay, take us to where you bought the flowers. Okay, it's here. Now we want to purchase the flowers for 25 million. You might even find that the stock inside that shop, it's not worth 25 million. Okay, so why should court go and start saying that you need to be standing in front of a judge?
There has to be a reason.
No reason.
Yeah, I'm saying
no reason.
Yeah, what I'm saying is for the 25 million, for me, the question will be, the background question should be, first of all, where did you pull that money from? Because the county operates on a budget.
Yeah.
There was no budget for buying flowers for 25 million. If there was a budget for 25 million, then yes, that's okay. Any other question, I'm not. But if you took that money from a different assignment to purchase the flowers, then you have violated the law. Because at the end of the day, when you go to court, you are going to court because of a violation of a law. You can't
exactly.
Yes.
No. My question was, Joel, slow me down, pole.
Keja, I think you had not
No,
put any question. You had just said
the 25 million I asked for was why should you purchase 25 million for flowers, or just the whole, like hata kama ni nani anakuja, maua ni 1 million.
So hata hatutaki kujua sababu ni yake, ataelezea familia after paying the money and serving.
That was the question. That is why it's
Okay. So for me, I think such a governor should just go straight to jail for stealing. Yeah. No other investigation, because investigations ends up after submitting the invoice.
Yes.
This is a paper. No one wrote it. It was written by whoever sold the flowers.
Yeah.
And you did the payment, meaning you agreed to pay the 25 million. Those are the things that we need fixed, not people being, not hii kizungu mingi ati ukileta huyu atakuletea nini, ukileta huyu watakuletea tu wizi.
Let me correct you. Hii kitu unasema unafikiria ni agency si kidogo. Magovernors wanaanza kuingiliwa. Pole utaona kila mtu anaanza kuexplain kila kitu anafanya.
But Keja, here is a problem. This is the third governor. I've been watching a clip for the governor of Nakuru trying to explain, I think, the first question.
I'm gonna tell you, we have 47 governors. We are going through one by one.
Keja, you are not listening. Just let someone finish what they are trying to say so that you can understand the whole picture.
Okay.
The challenge is not about highlighting. The challenge is what happens after. For example, so far we have seen 2 governors who have been exposed. Actually, 3 governors. 2 from Northeast and the one for, is that Kakamega or Bungoma?
Yeah, Bungoma.
Yeah,
Bungoma.
Now, Susan
Kakamega is going to be exposed.
Susan Kika was on the hot seat. She's trying to explain about 51 million. I haven't finished the clip.
Yeah.
Now, let's go back. Even before that, let's go back. We have 2 governors. One of them that I keep on saying all the time here is Obado. Obado was accused by ESC of stealing 2 billion and was supposed to go to court. Then they did what they call out-of-court settlement.
Yeah.
And they told him to pay only 200 million, which is...
Then we reversed it.
No, how can you reverse? Because there's an agreement.
He's going to jail. He's going to jail.
How? That's the problem. Because ESCC made a legal binding agreement with him. You pay 200 million.
The legal bind that he wanted, it has been pulled back. Trust me.
Where?
No, I mean, Chairman.
Yes.
Chairman.
Yes.
The out of court settlement is part of the legal procedure. It's allowed.
No, but it was pulled back.
Because if an order has been given and allowed, and was not challenged within a certain period, it remains binding.
Yes.
And depending the jurisdiction of that court that made that decision. So the thing is, out of court settlement is supposed, the intention is to decongest the courts of matters that can be discussed and settled out of court, because court time is precious time that requires that's why we have a diversion, where you go. That's why the courts in Kenya have hired a lot of mediators as a way of decongesting court, to make sure that courts focus on serious matters that have rigorous litigation processes.
Yes. Yeah. All right. I am Bounty. Let's go back.
I forgot to say something, Chairman.
Yes.
The thing is, there is technicalities, and that's what I think you are trying to explain.
Yes.
That sometimes they will use the court system to systemically let go off the hook people from serious matters, but they will tell you how, as the court decided, at the discretion of the court, they decided to follow this route.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So because most Kenyans don't have time or don't pay attention to such cases, or people are afraid to even go and challenge that decision within the period of either 14 days or 30 days,
Mm-hmm.
then you know what? The order becomes comes in force, and therefore you might not challenge it, or nobody wants to challenge it anyways. How much do I get? You know, people like Mtata don't think they were doing everything for free. They get funded with some people who have interest. People like Boniface Mwangi, we know Ford Foundation is funding him, and therefore he has a job to do, and he has good resources to look for good lawyers who can be able to advance the agenda of the funder.
No, you're talking about something, a difference between national interest and criminal difference. Please clear it up.
But I don't know what you mean, Keja. Courts hold national interest, so I'm not sure. The judiciary is not is a national is under the national government.
So for Okiya Mtata to go to court, he doesn't need a lawyer, and he can go. But when it comes to criminal defense stuff, it has to rise from the floor all the way to up. Am I right or wrong?
What we were saying, you're right, but what we are saying is that I think, I don't know how you want to relate to this, but a human rights activist can bring to the attention of the public, and therefore that is why you see the likes of Clive Ombeta, right? Being able to pick cases such as those, because it's not only, you know, lawyers are supposed to give back to the community. You understand that?
Yes.
They have to put, as part of the practice, you have to put some hours back to the community. Through, when you see people like Cliff Ombeta saying they are representing, and Dan Sanyumari, they are representing almost 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they do so, number one, as a way of giving, as an obligation by law society to give back to the community. Number two, as a way of becoming visible, because many people who see people like Omosh 1 hour who appear to be vulnerable, people tend them, it becomes national interests on how these people will be treated. As a result, they are marketing themselves because it's going to be a walk in the park, because after all, the government has zero interest to punish Omosh 1 hour for more than 72 hours or for months or so. So at the end of the day, he was going to be let go. And who becomes the hero? The lawyer who appeared on their behalf in the name of, free representation. Yet they are just meeting their obligation by the law society.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you a question. So what's the difference between criminal law and what do you call it? Criminal law and constitutional law.
How does this relate to the subject of discussion today? Maybe we might need to come back.
You jumped on it, now you remember.
No, I was trying to say that based on what I think it's Mbauni who said that, and Chairman brought in a good perspective, where a method of called diversion from the court as a systemic way of letting go criminals or a civil case as a way of letting them go because they have influence and connections. That is why we came to discuss that.
You say,
Okay, I got you. I got you. Now, Muneza endelea.
I am Bauni, and then Bob.
Can you guide me on okay, Joel have just said about the 2 billion shillings case. Then out of 2 billion, outside the courtrooms, it was said that the governor should pay 200 million.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the rest? Will it be paid in installments, or it has gone to charity?
Have you heard of settlement conference?
No.
Okay, so when a case goes to mediation, right? You present the reasons why you want it settled that way. Okay? And then you give your reasons. At this case, your lawyers don't speak. They don't have the powers to really speak for you. It is you and the mediators. You have your mediator, and the other party has a mediator. Okay? So you give your reasons, and this is you are invoking not the letter of the law, but the spirit of the law. Then when you're invoking the spirit of the law, it's to say that, yeah, we know, Chairman, you probably committed this crime, but you know you are a human and you're likely to commit this crime. Now, the letter says, if you commit this crime, you must go to jail. But the spirit says, let us step back and try to understand why he committed this crime. So that is why you have two principles, de facto and de jure. You know, de facto is the spirit, and de jure is the letter. So, which means the spirit is lenient, and that is why the spirit you have to explain, and you give reasons that convince that you agree, both the mediators agree because they are trained. Then you bring this recommendation to the judge. The judge will look at it. As long as both of you have agreed, then the judge will make it as a ruling, adopt it as a ruling.
Okay, so
to your question, yes, you might be disappointed that there is money that is lost, but we don't know what kind of reasoning they gave, right? And why the court accepted the reasoning. And Bauni, you remember that the poor have no justice. The rich will influence justice by the power, the connections, the social network they have, and the money.
So how do you think Obado went out?
And remember, you are speaking this one as a lawyer. So, and the lawyer have said that the poor doesn't have justice. That's what you are saying?
Unfortunately, that is what it is. Most of the time, people who are poor, the law doesn't work in favor of them.
Okay, so in this case now, we are saying that either way, the public money was lost, counted up to 2 billion. But in the spirit of the whatever terminologies you have used, the court or wherever, or whoever decided that, okay, you just pay us 200 million and then the rest, okay, forget about it because it's for the poor and they will not get justice. Those are the courts that we have now. And we keep calling the courts and the judges in front that using your wisdom, is that wisdom? Unless the wisdom change the definition. I think Kenya should just be disbanded and people be let go home. For real.
Chairman, may I inform Bauni that this is not a Kenyan problem. This is all over the world. Look at Donald Trump, right? in a country that talks of justice, democracy, a champion of democracy and justice, do you know how many cases he has and how he has gotten away with it?
Yep.
Remember, ukiona, have you ever asked yourself, why did someone who stole a vehicle is not harshly sentenced as someone who stole
A chicken.
a chicken? Okay, so unfortunately, that is how it is. But it is called systemic loopholes or systemic discrimination against those who have no resources and connections and influence. Why do you think Raila wants to hold onto power all along, or Ruto, or these other people? It is because they want to protect themselves by holding to power, because when they have connection to power, they can influence anything using their money. So that is, unfortunately, the poor has no justice because they don't have good connection.
In that regard, I can now come into conclusion that public money will be stolen and none will ever be recovered if your previous submissions will be followed. And
we will be back. We will be back on the streets.
To do what?
So Mbauni, one of the problems that I've highlighted, and especially when it comes to theft of public funds. Remember Wario, the guy who stole so many billions for the Olympics, for Rio de Janeiro Olympics in Brazil.
Yeah.
And then he was fined less than 2 million, which he paid within 2 hours. I think he was fined 2 million or something, but he had stolen 10 times what he was fined. What I say is the laws have to be changed, and the penalty has to be there that when you have been found guilty of stealing a certain amount, you have to refund all that money back. And then on top of that, you are fined an additional money as a punishment. The problem is right now, there is a cap of how much you can be fined.
Ngoja kidogo, serikali iko hapa. Imeinua mkono.
Okay.
Chairman, maliza kwanza.
Sawa. So,
Chairman.
Yes, the problem.
Bob ameinua mkono, serikali.
Nimeona Bob nimemwona, I'll give him time. The problem is, by law, every crime or every offense has a minimum requirement, a recommendation, sentence, and maximum. So you may find unaambiwa for this offense you can either get a jail term of 6 months and a fine of 50,000 or both. Or for this offense you can get either a jail term of 1 month or a fine of 10,000. So the judge can decide which to impose. So when you are given either or, the judge may decide the maximum you can give this person, even though the person sold 3 billion, the maximum punishment you can give this person is a fine of 2 million. The judge has to go by the law. So in other words, the law has to be changed and revamped, whereby you steal public funds, you have to return the entire amount. And then on top of that, you get a punishment, a fine, and actually a jail term and a fine. Then we can stop this.
And on top of it, never to hold any public office.
Exactly. So those are, because for example, remember the same time when we were talking about Inturi and all these other issues that were coming up, do you know in China, there is a governor of one of the region, him and the wife, they were actually executed. Do you know how much they took a bribe? 100,000, just 100,000. I think it was 100,000 or 10,000 US dollars. Very minimal amount. And they didn't get it, all of it directly. They just gave favors for companies to make some, to give them contracts to work some project in their region. The companies did the job, but they were given advantage compared to, and those guys were actually executed. They appealed to the highest court of the land in China, but they were told, no, you are found guilty, it has been proven you are corrupt, you and your wife, because you all share the money, dead. Now, I'm not saying that we get to that extreme, but we need to have a sufficient punishment.
I mean,
no,
no.
Chair,
We
they
should.
said
We
it's
should.
Chair.
Yes.
It's presidents. It's presidents. So the country, when and courts like presidents, because when now any other person thinks of getting corrupt, they remember what happened.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And Chair, there's something else I wanted to say, that our country, the way it is, it is set in a way. Can you imagine? This is, I just remembered. Can you imagine that in Kenyan Parliament, in the Senate, both the Senate, Parliament, and the Counter Assembly, imagine that there are hyenas sitting there.
Yes.
The debate, the subject of debate is the goat, all right? Whether the goat should get justice or not.
No.
Okay? And whether, if one hyena attacks the goat, right? Whether that hyena will be punished or not, right?
Yes.
What do you think will be the unanimous decision?
Hyena is not getting punished anytime soon.
Therefore, when members of parliament sit down and discuss, both at the Counter Assembly, the Senate, and they discuss that if you are found while you're in office that you have misappropriated the funds, what is the punishment that we should be imposed? What will they say? None, right?
Yeah.
So that is the kind of problem that we have. That's why we need a different body that is going to make sure that there is checks and balances. Because those who are lawmakers cannot make laws that will turn against them.
No.
It goes by default. Imagine kama wewe ni bwana kwa nyumba yako, alafu umeweka sheria ati kila mtu kwa hii nyumba lazima afike hapa by saa 11.
Yeah.
Alafu wewe unajua very well hautafika saa 11. Si ukiwa na opportunity utasema kila mtu afike kwa hii nyumba saa 11 except mabwana.
Yeah. Yep.
So that is what is happening in our country.
Yeah. True. Bob, let me hear from you.
Chairman.
Yes. Go ahead.
Kenyans are on their own.
Yeah.
Pole Bob, ongea.
The dealers have decided to trade the lives of Kenyans for positions.
Yes.
Fact. Hata historia ya JKIA, sijui ati Muhindi hakuna Muhindi amechukua JKIA.
Muhindi ni Kamlesh Padney.
Hakuna Kamlesh Padney.
Nasema, that's what happened to Kamlesh Padney. He was just the front.
Yes.
Yes.
I can assure you.
Yeah.
When the truth will come out, it will be one of them.
Yes.
It is either within Dr. William Ruto's presidency or around Raila Odinga, around Uhuru Kenyatta.
Yeah.
It will never go far from that.
Yeah.
So we are shadow boxing. We are fighting an Indian who has no idea.
Yeah.
That was one. Two. And I've said Kenyans are on their own. We thought that constitution ingepea institutions power.
Yeah.
Execute mandate yake. The Unethical and Corruption Commission.
Yeah.
Is the biggest impediment to the war against corruption.
Corruption. Yep.
Corruption lives in that house.
Yeah.
Corruption is brewed in that house. Corruption is manufactured and protected in that house.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, for Kenya to rescue itself, the events of 1976 in Soweto must be replicated for this country to be alive. The Sharperville massacre of 1969, whichever the year, 1960, I think, 1960, must be replicated in Kenya. Young people, children and women must shed blood so that we are saved. Because I am not seeing this country rescuing itself from these shackles. Tutaongea Kizungu yote, tutaongea Kiingereza yote na kila kitu.
Yeah.
But it is now clear that there is no goodwill from leadership to change the narrative of the people.
Yeah.
There's none. That is one. That is from the dealership. Secondly, the interest from the West that has been that these the so-called human rights activists who have been brought to the team is the other problem. When Kenyans come with a good cause, like reject the finance bill, when young people come to the street, no looting, no nothing, these MFs have been the one who caused the problem. They would have let Kenyans to do what they were doing when they started. When they said they were leaderless, they were ready to produce a leader. But what did these guys ask kuja kafanya nini? No. Leaderless, formless, rudderless, clueless, useless.
Yeah.
Gen Z ingeendelea na agenda yake ilianza. Bila hawa sema human rights kuingilia wangekuwa mbali sana. Hii kimbelembele ya human rights ndio haribu hii mambo. Because remember when it started, mpaka mashinani, watu, it came from the hearts of wananchi. People wanted accountability. People wanted the corrupt to go away. I can assure you, without a doubt, if these MFs, in the name of human rights, whatever, kama hawangeingilia maneno, Larry Madowo, Boniface Mwangi, Marco Ure, na hiyo watu yote, kama hawangeingilia, I can assure you, we would have seen a lot of changes. But since the genesis, it has been hijacked by these people, then it has lost meaning. So what is remaining? Tukutane kwa debe, na kama si kwa debe, people, life will be, honestly, Chapa bill has to happen. So weight of pricing has to happen for Kenya to change. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anti-corruption, your corruption commission. I think hapo hasa ndio vijana wanafaa kwenda. Hata mkienda Mokipa State au Mokipa pale. Na shida iko hapa karibu na sisi kwa mlango. Valley Road.
Hapo nasema ukweli.
Tumeshinda kwenda Valley Road. Why can't the Gen Z start with that? That nyinyi ndio mko na problem. Nyinyi tumewapea nyinyi ndio custodians wa kufukuza hii kitu.
Huko tutachapwa.
Unaona? So that is where they need to go. Naona chama anabakwama.
Niko.
You know? So if they can organize themselves and start by that, wakisanitize hiyo nyumba, pia watu wajue, kumbe si ndio problem. Tukimalizana na wao kwa DPP.
Wow.
And then for Chief Justice, then we can now start playing this struggle.
Yes.
Because the politicians and the dealers have no interest in playing this thing because they are the dragons themselves. Thank you.
All right, guys. Okay, let's go ahead and give our final thoughts so that we can summarize na tufunge show for today. Haya, nani anataka kuanza? Keja, wewe tulianzia, hebu tuanzie summarization sasa. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts?
Yes. What is next?
Nitasema Gen Z, the streets are gonna be gone Friday. Yeah. Hiyo maneno, hiyo list ya CS, Raila, opposition, the government have let us down. Na ndio hii nawaangalia, metuangusha. Yeah. You have recycled. You didn't have to recycle. You had to pick some technical people who can do work for you, Mr. Ruto. When it comes to, you should have just put away the politicians. Put this weke kitu kwa crew, a team that picks up your group of CSs, but you chose to pick your friends. Yeah, majenzi watakuwa. They'll be there. They will be there. They'll be there until you change your mind, or
Mhm.
you kill them.
All right. Okay. Next, Bauni.
If the devil wears Kauda, who is the tailor?
Okay.
Could Raila be the tailor?
Huh?
They have done what they have done
Yeah.
for the political survival,
Mm-hmm.
but if Gen Z registers as voters in large numbers, I think Ruto's campaign next year, come 2027, it will be him against the economy.
Yeah.
He will be campaigning against the economy. He should just know that. I was following the Gen Z's space
Yeah.
from when they started until yesterday, and I found that Governor James Orengo was not missing and he was saying nothing. And yesterday, he didn't appear. Was it a coincidence? I will check if he will join today,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll know if it was a coincidence. Tuonane next week.
Okay. Hi. Bob.
Okay. I'm lost for words to tell our people.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something I just want to read from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Please, just a common thing. I am really so sorry, and I feel sorry for my brothers and sisters, the Gen Zs, who had genuine concerns that touched on the current situation of our country. But the idea of saying they were partyless and leaderless and refusing to have any conversation allowed politicians to use that as a loophole to reward themselves. As for now, tujipange, tukate kura. United Orange Democratic Party iko kazini. Let's wait for a time ndio pia tufanye kazi. Asante.
Okay, thank you so much. Mise.
Bwana Chairman, mimi nasema tuibe, hawa viongozi waibe pesa. Kama pesa iko, wacha itumike. All I'm asking is wasikule peke yao. You know? All I'm asking is that tukiiba, to invest local. Zile 2 billion hii yenye imeudhi Mbauni, instead ya kupeleka huko Uganda kwingine, uweke offshore accounts, iba kwa ujasiri, tengeneza industry, hire 300 or 3,000 people, pay them salary, let the business thrive. Okay? Ukiiba, ukipewa contract, jenga vile ulivyoagizwa. Acha kukula. Jenga, kula ile profit ulikuwa umequote. For me, it's all about revamping the local economy. If kila mtu ameiba na ameweka hii pesa, ameiweka into circulation, into investment locally, bwana, lazima tutapata kitu kidogo kutoka kwa hiyo pesa yetu umeiba.
Yeah.
Be mindful that kama wewe ni member of parliament na umeiba, please try to remember to invest in our local constituency. Try to remember that we elected you to represent us. We donated our powers to you so that you can steal on our behalf. When you steal, don't eat alone. Bring back to the constituency. Let money circulate.
Yeah.
Ndio ule mama mboga, boda boda, that narrative that ndugu yetu Ruto alikuwa anatuambia. Kila mtu akuwe na share.
Yeah.
You understand? Do you know, Bwana Chairman, how many leaders have died? When Moi died, do we know how much money aliwacha huko in foreign countries?
No.
When Kibaki died, do we know ni pesa ngapi wameweka huko in foreign accounts?
Nope. No, we don't.
Alafu inasaidia watu wa huko nje. Mbona wasieke kwa huku kwetu nyumbani?
Yeah.
So that we can also benefit from the proceeds of the at least ni kama dividends. Tumewapatia nguvu, wacha wao enjoy in parliament, wacha wao waende magari kubwa kubwa, at least tukule dividends, right? Sasa, that is all I'm asking. Our leaders should invest in our local economy. Let me tell you something I've learned. Actually, very interesting. And I didn't actually foresee it. I started like that restaurant that we are talking about. I realized, I was looking the other day and I realized, oh, I have about 10 to 12 people working there, right? Watu, hiyo pesa ningeiweka tuseme Nairobi, haingesaidia watu wa loko hapa,
no.
Right? Sasa imagine wabunge wetu wangeiba wajenge mahospitali, hata kama tunalipa, wajenge hapa loko.
Yeah.
Iko shida gani? Ukijenga hospitali ambayo iko na vitanda 200,
yeah.
Those are jobs. We work there. Sisi kama wananchi wa Kenya hatujasema hatuna nguvu ya kufanya kazi. Tunataka kufanya kazi. Wewe ukiiba, leta ujenge hapa kwetu so that hata we can share. That is all we are asking, because at this moment tunajua hatuwezi kuwazuia kuiba.
Yeah.
Sasa let us make it, let us strike a deal, iba, but invest hapa local.
Yeah. Sio kupeleka Dubai.
Acha kupeleka Dubai, because wale Waarabu wako salama, hawana shida. So that is my parting shot, and I hope that one of these fine days, you look at people like Charles Taylor, you know, look at Chiluba, you know, when these people got out of power, kina Mugabe, you know, you think about it, how much money they had offshore.
Yes.
Our leaders need to start embracing, like now, Obado, Sai, even drug dealers, they give back to the community. You know, they give back to the community. These leaders are not giving nothing back to the community, yet they are stealing from these communities and invest elsewhere. That is all I would ask. If William Ruto, you are watching, if Gachagua, you're watching, please steal and invest in our local economy. You know, when people were fighting William Ruto about Western Hotel, you know, no, it has created jobs, at least, you know.
It's local.
It's local. So let us embrace local. Na ndio tutaendelea. Asante.
Asante. Bob, naona you have something.
Yeah, niko na kitu moja tu.
Yes. Yes, go ahead.
Mise, wacha nirudishe maneno yenye nilisema watu watamwaga damu. Hapana, wacha tuibe na tukule wote tutoshe. Ya pili, nataka ni make professor moja.
Yeah.
Kije tunaenda, I think Kenya imefika Moja tupe Ndikubode kwa president na ranimeti yake tapea Apostle Ng'ang'a. Tutakuwa sawa. Tunapigiwa gitaa hapa na tunapekeshwa hapa. Na I think tuko sawa. I think Kenya venye iko tunaendelea vizuri, tupige makofi na tunashukuru Mungu. Hapo tuko sawa kabisa. So Eric Omondi kwa president. Wallahi huyo akiomba kesho tutapea yeye kura. Na bora wakuwe na Ng'ang'a hapo.
Bora wakuwe na Ng'ang'a.
Bora wako na Ng'ang'a running mate. Hiyo si regional balance, Jaluo na Kikuyu. Historical political injustices will be solved on that day.
Where? Aya, Mbauni, you have a revision to make. Go ahead.
Yeah, mine goes to Steve.
Yeah.
Steve, he should post running promo should be that closing punchline for Mise.
Yes.
Hiyo ndio inafaa ikuwe promo.
Yeah. Ibeni lakini muache logo.
Kenya ikue nchi. It's a democratic wash republic.
Oh, there you go. Oh my goodness. Guys, thank you so much. This has ended up being a fun but a reality. We are facing our own reality and coming to a conclusion that at this point we may need to find innovative ways to address our concerns. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming here today. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for engaging in this discussion. We will continue to hope for a better Kenya. We'll continue to push where we can. We'll continue to give advice where we can. We'll give our opinions and comment without fear or favor for anybody. At the end of the day, we are speaking our truth based on what we are seeing. And I really appreciate that. For now, to all the viewers and all those who are going to watch this video again, thank you so much. Steve in the studio, thank you so much for being here with us. And thank you for your technical support. Asante sana, Bwana Gerald. You've been missing in action. Hopefully we'll see you sometime next month. For now, the Diaspora Taco edition ends now. See you next week. Bye-bye. Have a blessed evening or morning for others. Thank you.